What's up, everybody? My name is Godzi, and welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry questions arc. For once, I'm recording 2 episodes in a row. This isn't something I ever do, actually, because typically my throat hurts too much to record a second episode of this stuff right after, but hey, I feel fine, so let's do another episode, even though my voice will fucking slap me. So, whatever, let's get into this. Oh yeah, last episode, Krauss, George, and Natsuhi died, not in that order, but they're dead, so woo. Alright. Dad, Mom, who would do something like this? Jessica's woeful voice echoed throughout the rose garden. They found them, didn't they? Perhaps it was the intuition of a person who lived on this island. After checking the part of the rose garden where Aunt Rosa and Maria had fallen and seeing nothing, Jessica went to look in the arbor next. Normally, the arbor was probably a wonderful location to enjoy tea peacefully while appreciating the roses on a good sunny day. Maybe even Uncle Krauss and Aunt Natsuhi had days when they relaxed and enjoyed their tea together here. In that arbor lay their corpses. Fuck. Alright. God damn it. I can never survive. His corpse was found in the rose garden arbor. The cause of his death is assumed to be strangling with a rope-like object. A stake-shaped weapon was sticking out of his thigh. If only there wasn't that stupid epitaph, I wouldn't have needed a stake. What a pain. Oh, fuck. Eva was trying to follow the epitaph, wasn't she? Come to think of it. Probably? Alright, and Natsuhi in the same way. Her corpse was found in the rose garden arbor. The cause of her death is assumed to be strangling with a rope-like object. A stake-shaped weapon was sticking out of her calf. Why do I even have to follow the epitaph in the first place? Is this some kind of game? Yes! In that arbor lay their corpses. At least they aren't drenched in the rain like Aunt Rose and Maria had been. But there was no way I could say that out loud to Jessica at the moment. What do you think, Dr. Nanjo? Strangulation, I believe. Come, take a look at this. On their necks, there are distinct markings that something thin was used to strangle them. Right. I doubt those things were the primary cause for their deaths. And they definitely didn't die in the guest house. Right there lay 2 stake-like weapons decorated with an occult design, which had been found driven into Uncle Krauss's thigh area, and near Aunt Natsuhi's calf. When we found these sticking out of my parents' forehead and chest, we decided to preserve the crime scene and leave them for the police. But Jessica didn't care about such matters and immediately pulled the stakes out of her parents' forsaken bodies. By now, bodies gouged in the head, chest, stomach, knee, and leg have been found. Ah, damn it, damn it, damn it! I'll kill that murderer! Kill him! With this, the 8th twilight has been completed. Is this going to continue on to the 9th twilight? The witch shall be revived and none shall be left alive. Have we already confirmed it's the epitaph? Really? Bring it on. If the witch revives, that means the culprit is going to make its grand appearance, right? No one's going to be left alive? Bullshit. I'll kill him. I'll definitely kill the culprit who killed Dad and Mom with my own hands. I heard a thump, but never mind. Jessica let her emotions flow out as she howled furiously. To avoid being crushed by grief, she could do nothing but resist it with anger. We still haven't found George. Jessica, you children had better stay here. I'll go into the mansion. Eva, we mustn't split up. It's dangerous if we do not all stick together. There's nothing we can do for, Krauss or his wife. But George may still be alive somewhere. My phone keeps buzzing. I have no time to waste here. As Aunt Eva screamed this, Jessica glared at her. Hold on, I'm actually going to grab my phone, but it's a little far away. Got it. I'm just going to read it to myself if there's anything on it. Eva had no more time to bother about the dead. She was more concerned for the safety of her only son who had yet to be seen. Message from my mom. Jessica, you should stay by your father and mother's side. I'll make a short trip to the mansion. Bachelor and Dr. Nanjo, you two can stay here as well. After arbitrarily saying this, Aunt Eva rushed out of the arbor. Okay, don't care. Cool. Alrighty. It was a message from me mum. My maternal figure. I think she texted me back. I wonder if she did. The person who interrupted my Kingdom Hearts video earlier today. What did she say? Thank you, dear. Halftime. Okay. My brother's basketball game's at halftime? Are you serious? I called out to stop her, but there was no way she would listen. However, being alone in this situation meant nothing short of a death. If we silently watched her leave, it would be the same as letting her die. Since Aunt Eva was unwilling to stop, we had no choice but to follow her. And while it may be cruel to say so, Uncle Krauss and Aunt Natsuhi were already dead, so there was nothing more we could do for them. In the end, we had no choice but to console Jessica and head for the mansion together. Fortunately, Jessica stood up. Perhaps she had been able to break free from her grief, but what had surfaced in this place was an expression like a demon's. I'll kill that person with my own hands. I'll definitely avenge them. Let's go, Battler. If we find the culprit, don't get in my way. I'm definitely gonna kill them. I've got my own parents to avenge. Sorry, but this is first come, first serve. Yeah, that's right. Let's kill them. Sorry, burped at my words. Jessica finally seemed to feel like we sympathized with her emotions. I don't even know why I burped. I ate food like 2 hours ago. She still had that dark expression, but I felt that Jessica had regained some of her sanity. We took off, chasing after Aunt Eva. Through the rose garden, up the stone steps, running at full speed towards the mansion, whose large, intimidating shadow flashed into lightning. And Eva Beatrice, right? With this, the murders of the epitaph have reached the 8th twilight. And then on the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, none shall be left alive. I will most likely lose my life, but at the very least, I want to burn the truth into my eyes. That's the only thing motivating me to move right now. We were able to meet up with Aunt Eva, who was having trouble with the lock to the front door. It seemed that all the blood had risen to Aunt Eva's head. That was probably making her fingers clumsy. It looked like she couldn't even handle the simple task of inserting the key into the lock. Then there was the faint sound, the sound of the door unlocking, just as though it had waited for all the survivors to unite before opening. It felt to me as though the malicious mansion was trying to swallow up all the remaining humans at once. I heard a thump. Be right back. Alright, I am back. That was a UPS truck, I think. I guess they dropped off a box. I don't go to the door for delivery men because I'm scared to. I don't like to do that. But whatever. Let's get back into this. Perhaps the stench that erupted outwards the instant the door opened couldn't be described as just a smell. It wasn't just the charred smell from Grandfather. I think it also may have contained the regrets of the servants and Dad's group. All of the dead. What did it mean as it floated out, overwhelming us? Was it the cry of the dead telling us not to enter? However, Aunt Eva didn't even flinch at something like that. And we who had to chase after her were forced to step into the mansion even after receiving that message. George? George! If you can hear me, answer! George! Aunt Eva shouted at the top of her lungs. Considering the situation, it's probably far too optimistic to imagine that he's alive. When we started following Aunt Eva's example and calling out George's name in loud voices, Aunt Eva spotted something and stopped walking. She was standing in front of the door to the parlor. What is this? Dr. Nanjo, could you come here for a second? What is it? I'd heard about the eerie magic circles written on doors, like the one on the parlor from the adults. Eerie is the only word to describe that thing, which was scribbled with a deep red paint, reminiscent of blood, so that it slowly dripped down. However, that had supposedly been there since this morning. Wondering why Aunt Eva, who had supposedly seen it already, would think it odd now. Jessica and I stared at the door. Certainly, I have no memory of numbers such as these being written here. Right, they weren't. Eerie magical characters were written here, but not numbers. Oh, really? From what the two of them said, only the magic circle had been there this morning. However, right now there were 8 digits written near the upper part of the magic circle. 07151129. I'm gonna call them right now. Beep 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 boop. Hello? Oh god, it's the fucking Five Nights at Freddy's phone guy. No! I didn't know what it meant. Turn it upside down. If there's anything I've learned from Danganronpa, it's Leon! Yeah, that doesn't say fucking anything. Never mind. but I didn't even want to imagine what someone had been thinking when they wrote it. It's drawn with the same paint as the magic circle. No, never mind. I thought I figured it out. But it had clearly been written very recently. The way it had dried and the condition of the color was completely different from the magic circle part. Heh, I'm sure it just has some magical meaning. No point wasting time thinking about it. Jessica intentionally spat those words out in an attempt to push aside the eerie feeling it gave off. It could be a magic square. The idea that a ward against magic can reside in a certain sort of number play. What? I believe everyone has heard of the one where adding all the numbers in each row leads to the same sum. Wasn't that a group of numbers buried in a rectangle? This is just a single row. I don't have a clue what it could mean. What Jessica said is probably correct. There isn't any point in us wasting time thinking about it. Even though she said that, she probably suspected that it actually meant something. Aunt Eva was deftly writing that number down on an old receipt or something with a short ballpoint pen. Unless it had some obvious pattern, it'd probably be tough to memorize a code made up of an 8-digit number. Could this be a date? Or something? A date? What are you talking about? July 15th, 1129. I don't see how that would work. Unless it's backwards? September 21st, 15,170. No. But my birthday is July 15th. Oh. Once I thought that 0715 might refer to July 15th. I figured that if 1129 stood for November 29th, maybe that'd fit perfectly. Why would your birthday be written in a place like this? And what's up with November 29th? Thank God it's November 27th. This will go up on the 29th. That's what I want to know. Still, it's probably just a coincidence. When I thought about it, it started to feel a little creepy. What if someone's birthday was November 29th? That's not the birthday of anyone else in my family. Not Dad or Kyrie or Ange. And of course it isn't my mom's either. Nothing comes to mind. I don't believe it's Kinzo's or Genji's birthday. It isn't from my family either. And it isn't Rosa's or Maria's. It can't be anyone in my family. And it isn't Cannon's or Shannon's. I always give the servants presents on their birthday, so I know it for all of them. But I don't know anyone who's born on November 29th. Beatrice, by chance? Once we started imagining that the 8 digits weren't meaningless, but actually 2 dates written together, it really started to look that way. However, its true meaning may be something completely different, or there may be no meaning at all. Anyway, since we don't have any real clues, it's probably pointless to stand around here worrying about it. The inside of the parlor is much more important. This morning, behind each of the doors with a magic circle drawn on them had been the body of a victim. So if something new has been added to this door, does that mean something new has been added inside the parlor? When Aunt Eva tried to open it, she felt the resistance of the lock. She immediately took out a master key and put it in the keyhole. Sire. As soon as she opened the door, Aunt Eva let out a high-pitched scream and ran inside. That alone was enough to tell us what had happened inside the room. Yeah, George is toast. Dr. Najo and I looked at each other, and I shook my head slightly as we entered the parlor. George! George! Hang in there! George! Dr. Najo, quickly! George lay there crumpled alongside Shannon's corpse. His chest was stained bright red, and judging by his still-opened eyes, I'd hate to say it to Aunt Eva, but I couldn't pick up any signs of life. Right there. Hi! Ow! His corpse was found in the mansion's parlor. The weapon used on him is assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object. In exchange for his soul, the witch gave 8 numbers. 07151129. I thought it was the Twilights at first, but there's no 0 with Twilight. Wait, is it coordinates? Like, is it a set of coordinates? Like, no, but there's not 9. I thought it was maybe a coordinate grid for this, but no. Unless it starts from the top. 0. Go over 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1, 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fucking creepy! 07151129. If you say it, a small golden land will be opened. There's no 0 with Twilight. The 7th one is the knee. Knee? The first Twilight is the 6. Wait. Blank, knee, key, stomach, key, the both, and none shall be left alive. That doesn't mean anything. I don't get it. After moving to take George's pulse, Dr. Najo shook his head, wordlessly reporting that George was dead. Brushing him aside, Aunt Eva once again crouched beside George and started crying at the top of her lungs. With George's death, one thing is certain. The murders hadn't ended on the 8th Twilight. The epitaph was being carried out in its complete form, including the 9th Twilight, and none shall be left alive. I was really starting to lose track of things. For some reason, Aunt Eva's half-crazed cries actually made me cool down. Crestfallen and exhausted, I flopped onto the sofa and plunked my feet on top of the table. Maybe all these murders numbed my heart. Instead of just being frightened, I felt completely confused. Dad and Kyrie are dead, and people have been killed off one by one, starting with the servants. And there's been a hell of a lot of them by now. I don't know when the first murder happened, but they might have been killed at a rate of about 1 person per hour by now. We believe that the boat will come for us around 9 tomorrow. There's still a full 12 hours until then. How many more sacrifices to the witch will there have to be for us to survive? With the 4 of us, if one goes each hour, we won't last any longer than 4 hours. We don't even know if we'll last until midnight tonight. Yesterday after lunch, we came into this parlor. Just as they started talking about serving some tea Aunt Rosa had bought, we kids decided to take a walk. Maria was jumping around, wasn't she? Didn't Shannon bring us some cookies? She said Kumasawa had baked them or something. Ah yes, I made cookies. It would have been hilarious if she'd baked some mackerel into them, wouldn't it? That's right, I'll never hear Kumasawa's mackerel jokes again, will I? Alright, if only I remember stuff about Kumasawa. If I only remember stuff about Kumasawa, that wouldn't be fair to everyone else. Why did Dad and Kyria even go outside? It's not like going without food for a day would kill us. So why did Gluttony get a hold of them and make them go out for food? I'll bet that fearless dad of mine just started complaining about being hungry. Kyria, you were supposed to be the brakes for my reckless dad. Why didn't you stop him? And what about your daughter, Anj? She's still just 6 years old. Don't tell me you plan to leave her in my care. After all, it's doubtful now whether I'll even be able to leave this island alive. Stop! Why are you fighting at a time like this? Jessica, stop! It's been kinda noisy for a while. By the time I looked up to see what it was, Jessica and Aunt Eva had suddenly started fighting each other. No, maybe I should say that Jessica was grabbing at Aunt Eva. Aunt Eva killed Dad and the rest! Oh, she figured it out. There's no other explanation! How foolish! Why should I know anything about what happened to your parents? Who's on the first floor of the guest house? Aunt Eva. Dad and Mom were in the first floor lobby along with her. And who was left alive? Only Aunt Eva. Why? It's obviously because you're the culprit. You killed Mom and Dad, carried them outside, and then shamelessly locked the door. Trying to make it seem like it was the witch's doing. Then why do you think George disappeared? He never came down to the first floor. So did he disappear from the second floor? And who was on the second floor? You people were, right? You knew, didn't you? You knew that George slipped out of the guest house. And you brazenly acted as if you didn't know anything. If you'd stopped George, he'd be... I said stop. Jessica was in the cousin's room the whole time. And Eva was in the first floor lobby the whole time. Neither of you is responsible for anything. What we have here is simply the sadness of losing family members. The culprit is no one, nowhere. It's all just the witch's fault. So stop hating each other, you two. The witch's fault, huh? I wonder if that's a good way to cool down the situation right now. Yeah, I finally understand why 3 people evaporated from the guest house, when all the doors and windows were locked from the inside. This is what they were after, making us think that the culprit was inside and sparking this ugly mutual hatred. Has to be the culprit's, the witch's goal. But if that's the case, how did the culprit lock it from the outside? When Dad's group was attacked, their master key was definitely stolen. But the doors and windows to the guest house were built so that you couldn't lock them from the outside, no matter how hard you tried.
Well, that's something you would need to tell us.
So that master key should have nothing to do with the guest house closed room. Jessica and Aunt Eva were turning their sadness at losing their blood relatives into anger at the person in front of them. Eva probably killed Krauss and Natsuhi. George, I'm really unsure about. Dr. Nanjo was trying to step between them. And I sat on the sofa, staring up at the ceiling, thinking about things that didn't even matter anymore with a worn-out expression. I just couldn't believe that this was the same part that had been so warm and pleasant midday yesterday, for just a short time before the typhoon hit. Eva?
Eva?
Ah! The sudden sound of a gunshot shook me out of my half-asleep trance. Smoke was rising out of the barrel of the gun Aunt Eva held. Jessica had fallen to the floor and was covering both her eyes. Fucking hell, she just shot her. Aunt Eva and Dr. Nanjo were looking down at her in shock. Are you okay, Jessica? Jessica! Oh my god, she fucking dead. Ah! It hurts, it hurts, it hurts! Ah! It wasn't my fault. This happened because you came at me even after I told you to stop. Hey, wait a sec, what's going on? So did Jessica grab at Aunt Eva, which turned into a scuffle? Did they start fighting over Aunt Eva's gun? Did some kind of impact cause the trigger to be pulled? I didn't know if the bullet had grazed her, if she'd been burned by the discharge. But either way, Jessica was covering both of her eyes, screaming it hurts, and rolling around on the floor. Don't worry, calm down. It is not a serious wound, so get a hold of yourself. Okay, so she wasn't shot? My eye hurt. My eyes hurt. It hurts. I can't see. I can't see. Dr. Nanjo let Jessica borrow his shoulder, saying that he would tend to her in the servant room. The servant room in this mansion had a bed and a first aid kit and was able to function as an infirmary. Damn it! Wait, damn it! You killed Mom and Dad! I'll kill you! I'll kill you! It wasn't me! It wasn't me! Jessica, you'll aggravate the wound, so don't move about. Come, let us go to the servant room. Jessica continued to curse Aunt Eva as her parents' murderer. It seemed that Aunt Eva couldn't conceal her trembling at the fact that she'd pulled the trigger, even if it had been an accident. It wasn't my fault. It happened because that kid jumped at me. He didn't kill anyone. More importantly, who killed George? That's right, who killed George? George! George! It isn't my fault. It isn't my fault. Wait a sec, Aunt Eva. Don't go off on your own. I didn't know if it was because Aunt Eva couldn't bear her mistake, or if she'd given up control of her body to anger at the person who had killed her only son, or if it was both of those all mixed together. At any rate, she ran out into the corridor, yelling, fearful, and screaming. I was also worried about Jessica's condition, but right then I couldn't leave Aunt Eva alone. Why would she go off on her own in this mansion of all places? Is she suicidal? Dr. Nanjo took Jessica towards the servant room. I chased after Aunt Eva, dashing into the depths of the mansion. This is not good. Assuming I was right with the first game and there's a bomb that goes off at midnight, everyone's toast. After all. After sitting Jessica on the servant room bed, Nanjo told her several times not to touch her eyes and examined the affected area. The barrel had probably been near her eyes. There was a possibility that the flames from the discharge had injured her corneas, so that's what happened. There was no threat to her life, but it would probably be necessary to take her to a doctor as soon as possible. Nanjo applied emergency first aid, covering the affected area with gauze and wrapping it with a bandage. As a result, Jessica completely lost her field of vision. Is that okay? The wound may hurt or itch, but you mustn't scratch it or rub it. When tomorrow comes, let us go to an ophthalmologist as soon as possible. That bitch, she really was trying to kill me. If the angle had been just a little bit off, I'd have been killed by now. I'll definitely turn her into the police. Eva would not do such a thing. That was an accident. You call that an accident? She killed Dad and Mom. There's no any 19th person or witch exists on this island. She's behind everything. She was the only one on the first floor of the guest house. George must have seen her kill Mom and Dad, and she killed him to keep him quiet. It's the same with grandfather and the servants. I'm sure she snuck out of this family conference last night and killed all of them. If that is indeed the case, then we'll find out about it as soon as the police investigate. The police are incredible, and with their powers of discernment, there is nothing that cannot be understood. There is no need for us to suspect or hate anyone. The police will resolve everything. So for now, Jessica, you should devote yourself to resting your body and keeping your eyes safe. Of course, if you wrinkle your forehead too much, it will do nothing good for your eyes, not to mention your beauty. When Jessica's abuse of Eva had reached a crescendo, she actually had started glaring instinctively, and the pressure on her eyes had hurt her. Jessica herself realized that the more she talked, the more the wound would hurt. And regardless of whether she'd overcome her suspicions of Eva, she regained her composure for the time being. She killed them. Dad and Mom. And Shannon and Cannon. She'd heard that Cannon had been killed in the chapel. Jessica still hadn't seen his face after he had died. Jessica was now less fearful about the fact that she was blinded, and more frightened that the police would carry Cannon's body away while she still couldn't see, and that she would have to say her final farewell without being able to look at his face. Her anger at the culprit and her sadness at the death of the person she liked, those mixed emotions started her crying. But right now, tears were actually painful for her, so she wasn't even permitted to leisurely remember his face in bygone days. Jessica could do nothing but sit on the bed and let her head droop, withstanding the pain. Well then, now I am worried more about Eva. I hope she isn't too shaken by this. Realizing that Jessica had calmed down for the time being and letting out a sigh, he stuck his head out into the hallway to look for any sign of the others coming back. Oh, motherfucker. Fancy meeting you here. Oh, what? Who are you? Then their eyes met. Nancho, unable to understand who this person was bewildered for an instant. I hear that people who have lost the power of sight have zero anti-magic power and magic resistance power. In other words, you're an isolated pawn right now. Understand what that means? What did you say? Nancho had no way of understanding who the person in front of him was, much less what she had just said. Dr. Nancho? What's going on? Unable to see, Jessica had to rely on voices alone to make out the situation. But since she heard Nancho say something in an uneasy tone, she tightened up, thinking that something bad might have happened. Stop, please! Please don't kill me! I have a sick grandchild! I mustn't die here! Please spare me! Hey! It's Dr. Nancho? Dr. Nancho! Jessica couldn't do anything except call out from the bed. Judging by the tone of his voice, Nancho was in the corridor confronting someone.
Literally stop killing everybody. There's a bomb!
And he was scared. His life must have been threatened just a second ago. No, stop it! Eek! On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive and none shall be left alive. God damn it, I thought when Maria died I wouldn't have to do that shit again. Oh, you thought wrong! Shut up! The witch pointed the end of her gold staff at Nancho. Even though he didn't know what she was planning to do, Nancho assumed that she must be trying to take his life. Dr. Nancho! Dr. Nancho! Is someone there? Answer me! Stop it! Ah! Bang?
Eva's the culprit.
A sharp sound echoed. And just as sharply, the tip of the golden staff tapered and stretched, slicing into Nancho's forehead. Slicing? What? She killed him with the staff? Jessica, who could only try to grasp what was happening with her ears, had no clue what was going on. But even so, she was able to realize that with that sound, Nancho had died. Fucking! Stop killing people! Oh god. His corpse was found in the hallway in front of the mansion's servant room. The weapon used on him is assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object. Okay, so that's the same object. Same thing that killed Kinzo and the servants. Well, not Kinzo, just the servants. Just a little longer and he'd probably have managed to return alive. However, in the very end, the witch did not permit that. There's only 3 people now. God damn it. And she could tell that that person was now in the corridor, right in front of the servant room. Furthermore, since she couldn't see, she wouldn't be able to run away, much less resist. Knowing that she was a mouse in a trap and in a life or death situation, Jessica shuddered. Oh, Jessica, too bad your eyes got injured. Now you can't even escape. I'm gonna play a whole lot with Nanjo's corpse now. When I get bored of that, I'll kill you next and play a bunch more. No wait, if I've got you here blind already, I won't wait until you're dead. I'll have a lot of fun with you before I kill you too. So wait, they're shaking for a while, okay? As you try to imagine all the ways I'm playing with Nanjo's corpse. Jessica was struck with fear and let out a frail scream. She wanted to scream in a much louder voice, trying to get someone to help her, but she couldn't. When faced with true fear, it clogs up a person's throat. Right then, Jessica could barely even breathe. Help me! Help me! Hey! She searched around with her hands, trying to find some way to escape. But even though she should have known this room well, just being unable to see made it like a closed room of darkness. She ran into a shelf or something and hit things like candy jars and bottles fell down, hitting her on the head. And she died from that. As she was now, it would have been tough for her to even guard her head to block it. She was painfully aware of how powerless humans become just by losing their sense of sight. Of course, she had no time to be impressed by this fact. She crawled around at random, trying to escape from that place, but she kept bumping into things that she didn't understand, getting hit by various falling objects, and it felt like the entire room was alive, bullying her and refusing to let her escape. Then a footstep can be heard from that presence in the hallway, and then a voice. She probably poked her head into the room since Jessica had been so loud. You really are noisy. Act like a lady and wait there on the bed, cause I'll give you a wonderful blood-red death outfit fitting for such an honored daughter. Something good enough to make the person who finds you faint, okay? Eek! Until just a second ago, she had sworn that she'd kill the culprit if she found them. However, she was now very powerless. Hold on. Is it not Eva that killed Nanjo then? Because I just realized, if he was killed with the same weapon that all the servants were killed with, I think Jessica is the first culprit. The first Twilight culprit. And then the music fades out, okay. She couldn't do anything except let out a scream, crawling around on the floor and bumping her head into the bed and the legs of the desks. Help me! Help me! Someone help me! Dad! Mom! Battler! Someone! Come! Help me! Cannon! In the corridor, as the witch thought of how to toy with Nanjo's life, a single gold butterfly secretly watched that scene from the corner of the hallway. It was Beata, who had barely escaped with her life once before. You are a fucking idiot! The gold butterfly softly returned to human form. It was faint and transparent like a lace curtain. By now, her power was so weak that even maintaining this form was difficult for her. Right next to her, Ronove also appeared. It is unlikely that Jessica will survive. Of course, there were to be no survivors from the very beginning. She has grown feelings of love for Cannon. I have toyed with them at times. However, such behavior was shameful for a witch. Love is the single element. Romantic love is even more pure, more sacred. Though for some reason you seem to despise it thoroughly, milady. Teacher told me, magic exists to bring people happiness. That's something I myself must have been aware of in the past. Oh, this is the talking song again. Ever since I forgot that, I stopped being a witch. And so I lost the right to be Battler's opponent. I can hardly believe it, milady. Do you actually intend to rescue Jessica? It will be dangerous. I know. Even if I do save her, she will become a plaything of the witch's banquet when the door to the Golden Land opens. But even so, that death would be far more compassionate than what that person would do to her. The witch's banquet steals lives in a terrible way, but it does not do so more than once. It does not toy with life and death. However, that person is different. She kills over and over. She kills for fun. There's not even a trace of compassion there. I want to at least save Jessica from that kind of cruel fate. Certainly, by carrying that out, she would probably be praised as a good witch. However, the new Beatrice already views you as hostile, milady. If you were to be seen by her again, you would not have any method of escape this time, correct? Whenever you united George and Shannon, I finally understood what a witch is, and what magic is. I am a witch. I must act as a witch. And I must be acknowledged as Battler's opponent, and make Battler accept me as a witch this time around. The road to that goal may be long and difficult, However, if I do not take a step forward here and now, I won't be able to call myself a witch. I understand your feelings, but how do you plan to rescue her? There are not many forms of magic that your body is capable of now, milady. Did you not have to borrow George's power even back when you revived Shannon? Indeed, and for that very reason I may be able to save Jessica. Right now she is begging for Cannon to save her. If I can borrow the power of that emotion, my magic may be able to knock on the doors of the land of the dead once again. You may be able to knock, however, you would use up all your magical energy. If you were to be spotted by the new Beatrice, you would truly be without a method of escape. I am no longer your butler, milady. Understand that I cannot assist you if the situation worsens. I know. By now I have toyed with and taken more lives than I can count, so I may not be able to make up for it, except by saving the same number of lives, bringing them through that door. I have had nothing to lose in the first place. I am just a gold butterfly who has passed its name and magic power on, and who is no longer acknowledged as a witch. What about Battler? You are partway through a game with him. He has said that he would wait until you return. Are you truly satisfied to end it here? You have a duty to return to the seat across from Battler, milady. For that very reason, if there's a life that only I can save, I will save it. And I will be accepted as a witch. I must become a witch. If this is training, it is a very childish thing. Nothing that compares with the evils I have committed before now. Vanish, Ronove. Watch what may be the final magic of a single butterfly, who used to be called a witch. Certainly. Please show me magic that will not disgrace the name of the Golden Witch. And I pray that it is not your final spell. Go, my friend. If you can find enough ink, write down the story of my foolish life, and hand it over to some fool who is about to walk down the same path. So long, Ronove. Okay, Beatrice, what you gonna do to be a good person? Which thing? Alright, you're in the chapel. Great. I see. She's doing the same thing that she did for Shannon. To bring back Cannon? Or are we getting Demon Cannon? I don't want to live. I don't deserve to live. For I am furniture. Oh. And yeah, this is the servant room. Got that. I'm clicking. Cannon, where are you? Where are you? Help me! Help me! Ah, fuck. Milady, I am always there by your side. Cannon? Cannon? It seemed to Jessica as though she'd heard Cannon's voice just then. She looked around with unseeing eyes, but of course she saw nothing. On the contrary, that action caused her head to hit the desk again. Oh yeah, duh, she can't see. Cannon! Cannon! Help me! Help me! Yes, milady. I will help you. Cannon? You survived? This time she thought she heard his voice clearly. Jessica jumped up in surprise, banging her head against the desk once again. Ow! Milady, please calm your heart and listen. Unfortunately, I am not alive. Huh? I have already died. However, that witch came to me to tell me of your peril. And she gave me just a little bit of time so that I could save you, milady. Please, calm your heart even more. If you do, my form will become visible even to you, milady. Jessica obeyed those words. She chased all idle thoughts from her head and relaxed her breathing. Of course, her heart felt like it was going to explode after hearing the voice of the one she had liked and had thought was dead. She resisted the excitement with all her strength. Hi, Cannon. When she did, she felt as though Cannon was really right in front of her. Even though she shouldn't have been able to see him with her eyes, she was able to sense him clearly. Can you see me, milady? Yeah, I can see. I can definitely see you, Cannon. I exist only as a soul now, so I cannot touch you, milady. I cannot do anything except talk to you like this. With my current weak existence, I can do nothing more than that, but I should be able to be of some aid to you, milady. So, we can only talk? I can't touch you, Cannon? I am now more fragile than smoke from a candle. So much so that if one of the living such as you were to touch me, I would be wiped away instantly. So please, don't try to touch me. Because I am also holding back my desire to touch you, milady. Okay. More importantly, milady, please listen well. The new Golden Witch has a cruel heart. She surely plans to make you meet with a horrible fate. You must escape from this room and hide. How? I can't see anything. Quiet. I will be your eyes, my lady. Please move in accordance with my instructions. First, please crawl 3 steps from here. Then stand up. You are now under the desk, my lady. If you stand there, you'll hit your head. That was under the desk? Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna stand. Well done. Next, please turn please turn to face towards 9 o'clock. Yes, well done. This is pretty embarrassing. Ow. Are you okay? Does your wound hurt? No, I'm fine. What next? Jessica thought that if this was a dream, she didn't want to wake up. And if she were allowed to, she would have wanted to take off the bandage covering her eyes and see him. However, if she did that, Cannon might vanish like frail candle smoke, just like he himself had said. She was afraid of that. So she satisfied herself with just listening to his words once more, repressing her desire to see him, to hold him. Therefore, what hurt her eyes now were tears of gratitude. Tears of gratitude for the god, or maybe the witch who had given her this miraculous moment. Is this okay? If we keep talking like this, won't we be noticed by her? Won't our voices be heard? I have erected a secrecy barrier. As long as we don't make any loud sounds or speak noisily, no one will notice us. That's why people can't tell when I'm around. I don't really get it, but anyway, we'll be fine as long as we stay quiet, right? What should I do next? Please walk 10 steps in that direction. You will touch the sofa. Please continue along that. Do it slowly. Stay calm. Believe in my words. Sure. It's weird. Even though it's so scary not being able to see. I'm not scared at all if you're with me, Cannon. Yes, that is the sofa. Trace it to the left while advancing slowly. There's a table just to your left. Be careful not to bump into it with your shins. It was a very, very strange and bizarre team effort. Even though she would have been killed in an instant if the terrible witch noticed her, there was no fear in Jessica's heart. She was being protected and guided by Cannon, someone she thought she'd never be reunited with. It would probably be just a momentary miracle. Even so, Jessica was deeply grateful for it. If she hoped for too much, she was sure that he would disappear, so she tried not to ruin this faint miracle. And trying to engrave this moment into her heart for all eternity, she slowly continued to walk, obeying Cannon's voice. Okay, if you walk 10 more steps, you will exit the servant room. Then, please turn to face 9 o'clock and keep walking very slowly. Put your hand on the wall to your right and keep on following that. I will take you to a safe room. If I go there, will you leave, Cannon? Cannon didn't answer, but his lack of an answer was enough to tell her the truth. His lack of an answer was enough of an answer. Then, no way, I don't want to go. If you stay here, you will be killed by the witch. I don't mind. If I'm killed, I can go to the world where you are, Cannon. Milady, please listen to me. The human world is too bright and painful for the dead, like me, so I cannot stay for long. So, milady, please allow me to use what time I am allowed to guide you to a safe place, because after that, I will stay with you until my time runs out. Is that the very best you can manage, Cannon? Yes. In exchange, I will stay by your side for as long as possible. I will stay with you and talk with you, milady. Talk about what? What do you want to talk about? I don't care what, as long as you're willing to tell me, Cannon. Well then, I will tell you the story of a cowardly servant boy who lacked all courage. The story of a foolish and pitiful boy who fell in love with a young lady as radiant as the sun, even when the lady confessed those same feelings to him. He lost to his cowardice, and was never able to be honest with his feelings while he still lived. Yes, then I want to tell you a story too. It's a story of a cowardly girl who couldn't muster the courage to tell the boy she loved how she felt much, much more often. The story of how that girl, after being reunited with that boy by a miracle from God, used that chance to finally muster up her courage. Wow, okay. Interesting metaphors or whatever. I also want to hear that. So for that reason as well, let us go to a safe place. Yeah, if I could be with you, Cannon, I would walk however far, however long it took. And I would walk 10,000 miles, and I would walk 500 more, however the song goes. I don't need eyes anymore. If you tell me to step forward, I will take that step, even if it leads off a cliff. Thank you. Come, milady. Let us go. The first 10 steps. No, I don't like it. I won't do it unless you call me Jessica. Okay, understood. Well then, Jessica, take the first 10 steps. Yes, Cannon. Very quietly, Jessica and Cannon slowly snuck out of the servant room. Just around the corner, the witch could be seen cruelly looking down at Nanjo's corpse, but she didn't even notice their presence. However, Ronove, who stood at the ready by her side, met Cannon's eyes. Cannon thought, oh no, grimacing and blocking Jessica with his back. However, Ronove did not inform his master. He played dumb, just as though he hadn't spotted Cannon in the first place. No, maybe he did appear to chuckle. From a finger on Ronove's hands, which were joined behind his back, a single small gold butterfly appeared, flying in front of Cannon as though guiding him. It went unnoticed by the master he served. Cannon was surprised at the magic that butterfly held, because it was far more powerful than the secrecy barrier Cannon possessed. He may not have known it, but that power of his had originally been Ronove's. Really? Cannon's ability was an imitation of that, which Kinto had made and given to him. As that butterfly of secrecy magic scattered gold scales, it grew smaller bit by bit. It probably wouldn't last long. But without a doubt, even that would buy them enough time to get them far away from the cruel witch. Okay, milady, let's follow that wall and keep walking. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, if I can be with you, Cannon, I'll keep on going. On and on. Led and protected by the small gold butterfly, the pair, separated by the wall of life and death, slowly walked away, towards the end of the corridor. There was no way that the evil witch could have had magic to notice their flight. Until they disappeared at the other end of the corridor, the witch didn't realize that Jessica had vanished. By the time the gold butterfly Ronove had sent evaporated completely, Jessica had reached the parlor. Even though it would have been a quick trip if she'd been able to see, as she was now, it had been a very long adventure. Come, milady. We've reached the parlor. I will now take you to the bundle of curtains by the window. If you hide in there, you'll surely be safe. Inside the curtains. Not bad. I used to hide in there a lot long ago. Those curtains do not reach the floor. Beatrice. Huh? Cannon called out the witch's name. Huh? Jessica looked around in surprise, but she obviously couldn't spot the witch when she couldn't see. Beato had appeared once again with a faint form. Cannon squared off against the figure of the evil witch, but Beato's expression was soft, or even pitying. Square up, bitch! I don't know what sort of whim led you to revive me, nor do I understand what you're thinking now. Oh, it was nothing more than a whim. No, this is how witches should be. It took me 1,000 years to realize that. That is how foolish it is. Who is it? Who's there? Milady, be quiet. She is the witch Beatrice. I owe her, but could she let me be with you one more time? The witch Beatrice. Forget about me. More importantly, you should quickly hide that girl in the shadow of the curtains. You probably do not have much time left. You may spend it having a final conversation with Jessica. A secret meeting inside a bunch of curtains? How clever you two are. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you for letting me be with Cannon. Jessica didn't know where Beato was, so she said that while facing in the wrong direction. Perhaps because she found that funny, Beato snickered. I will now leave this room to the pair of lovers. Evil witches have no need for tales of love. Allow me to depart. Beatrice, thank you very much. Humph. There is no need to thank me. You know that something like this cannot compensate for all the evil I have done. I offer my gratitude to this good witch as a parting gift. I don't know what has happened before or what will happen later. However, at this very moment, you are without a doubt a good witch. Wait, that's canon. Sorry, I had a frog in my throat. You flatter me, Furniture. The next time we meet, I may be an evil witch who doesn't betray your expectations. And with that, farewell. Beato left the parlor and closed the door, and mustering the last of her remaining magical power, she sealed the door. The fact that those two had escaped into here would eventually be noticed, and now that the 9th twilight had been reached, no matter how much they struggled, their inescapable fate had already been decided. However, until that final moment, they should be given the chance to speak with each other of their love. The witch poured out all of her magical power to protect their time together. That's quite a bit of magical power. So that no one would be able to defile their time alone until the last possible moment. At that time, Beato noticed something. Her body had been detected by a magical searching technique. The evil witch's furniture had sniffed this place out. So boorishness is the witch's way of doing things after all. To think that she doesn't even intend to let those two young ones speak together of their love. Nah, fuck, the Chesters again. 45, data received. Checking target, confirmed as the predecessor Lady Beatrice. Analyzing power defensive wall. 72-layered, multi-layered defensive wall. Attack-proof barrier and anti-magic armor. Sniping into the power will be impossible. Data link to 410. 410, data received. Now we've just gotta kill predecessor first, yeah? Great Lady Beatrice, your firing permission, please. Go ahead and shoot. I want to avoid her vital areas. There's something I want to ask that old hag. 410, firing. God, those two are weird. The Chester sisters' gold bow released a gold snake. It crawled down the corridor, starting from the front of the servant room, aiming for the parlor as it drew a soft, snake-like curved line trajectory. God, deja vu! And pierced Beato's chest. Oh god. Gold butterflies gathered, and the cruel witch appeared along with her furniture. Predecessor, no further obstructions will be permitted. I didn't think they would be. Still, the Chester sisters really have gotten rusty. To think that they had failed to bring me down, and twice at that. Ronove spoke in a manner befitting the witch's butler. As she pushed her pain aside, Beato grinned and spoke back. My apologies, predecessor. We were ordered to avoid vital areas. As soon as we get the order, we can pierce you at any time. We can pierce a hole in your ears, a hole in your belly button, any hole you like. The gold snake that had pierced Beatrice grew even longer, drawing a funnel-shaped helix and awaiting its next order. It was prepared to pierce a vital spot as soon as the evil witch told it to. For what reason would someone like you, who is no less brutal than I, make them avoid my vital areas, new Beatrice? I wanted to ask you something. I don't know what kind of trick you used to escape, but we thought we took you out, right? Why is it that even though you could have escaped by hiding, you took the risk of appearing again? It can't be that you came back just to protect those two young people, right? Well, who knows? And just a second ago, why'd you do something as soft as reviving the lovers and reuniting them? The more I hear about you, the more I learn that I don't even reach up to your feet as an incarnation of evil. If you're like that, why did you suddenly start acting so mildly? That's what I wanted to ask. I am brutal, therefore I am fickle. What purpose could questioning that possibly serve? Chester sisters, sew her. When she ordered that, the gold snake was curled in a helix and suspended in space. Moved as fast as a real snake going after its prey, and pierced Beato's body multiple times from both sides, its gold tail drawing an X shape. God. As the cruel witch had ordered, it drew a cross-stitch through Beato's chest. The gold thread made a squeaking sound and tormented Beato. Rather than a gold snake searching for its prey, it waited for orders like a sewing needle ready to sew Beato. If it's you we're talking about, there's no way it could have been a whim. I've heard about you, and I've learned. You're such an incarnation of evil that I don't even rise up to your feet. I thought I was truly a fitting successor to you. But you've always been in the way. You always say warm, pleasant things that shock me. What changed you? You explored the depths of evil for 1,000 years, and I let you live because I wanted to know what happened to make you change so much. Oh god. If you really want to know, then I suggest you waste 1,000 years as well. So. Oh god. Beato's chest was once again sewn with a golden cross stitch. It tightened once again, squeezing fresh blood from Beato's chest. The intense pain it caused ran in conflict with its beauty to the eye. You might be one of those things that disappear when they die and don't leave a corpse, so I'll kill you slowly. But if you answer my questions honestly, I'll let you die easy. I'll give you a splendid, gorgeous death, perfect for my predecessor. I'll sink you in a coffin filled with water and roses. Isn't that wonderful? And you still won't talk about the reason for your change of heart. Not answering, she is asked as another one of the evil witch's pleasures. So, twice. Of course you don't have to answer. After all, that way I get to torture you. The endless magic truly is wonderful. When you think about it, this world is limited in every way. The endless cannot exist in the human world. Because gods are without limits. The human world is deprived of all limitlessness, so that they can be looked down upon. So in other words, this endless power is the power of the gods. Wonderful power where, the more you play with it, the more fun ways of playing you find. You use that power as you please for 1,000 years and went on a rampage. Why are you having a change of heart only now? You aren't gonna say you regret handing it over to me, are you? How could I regret it? The endless magic you believe in is no magic at all. True magic lies in a deep abyss that you most certainly cannot reach. And this is what you realized? Then what is it? Wander about for 1,000 years without realizing, foolish witch. So, 3 times this time. Right foot, left stomp. Left foot, left stomp. Beato's chest had been embroidered with the gold thread. It tightened even more, causing Beato more and more pain. Well, that's fine. I'm no longer curious about what kind of revelations an old hag who refuses to die might have had. I'm bored now, so I'll just kill you. If I do, the barrier around the parlor will dissolve. Then I'll torture Cannon and Jessica to death a whole bunch of times. Cannon will disappear in a second, though. Being able to have 2 lovers as my toys at the same time sounds pretty fun, right? Kill her. Oh god. Without missing by a millimeter, the gold sewing thread shot through Beato's heart. That intense pain was worse than all of the pain before that put together. Beato finally remembered the actual feeling of dying, which he had forgotten over the course of 1,000 years. But she couldn't die. She must not die. If she died, it would mean handing over the 2 in the parlor to the cruel witch. So she definitely couldn't die. She resolutely refused to die. New Beatrice, I have a request. The lovers' meeting between the 2 in the parlor will not last long. In the amount of time an hourglass can measure, Cannon will probably vanish into the land of the dead. Would you please allow them at least that much time? No way. Isn't tearing apart 2 who love each other fun? You said it yourself, so I want to try it. In that place, I mustn't allow you that pleasure. Yes, it can be fun tearing apart lovers. Really? I'm sure it is fun. So don't get in my way. So more. So. Me? 410? Understood. Does that thing have a limit? The merciless gold sewing needle sewed the gold thread through Beato's heart over and over again. However, no matter how much it tightened, that heart did not stop. This isn't nearly enough. I won't die by something like this. What are you doing? Make this old hag shut up. Kill her quickly. We're killing her. Even though we've sewn her heart in place several times, this person's heart won't stop. Are you immortal? There's the motorcycle gun again. Of course not. I've handed the Endless over to you. My heart will not beat many more times. However, if by making it beat just once more, I can give the 2 in this room a bit more time. I'll continue that resistance for all eternity. So, keep sewing until her heart stops moving. God. Why doesn't she die? It's impossible. Why isn't her heart stopping, even though it's been sewn in place? Who cares? We'll make her heart explode from the inside, yeah. How pitiful. And you could have died cleanly if you hadn't resisted us. Of all people, Beatrice won't die. As I said that, even though the gold needle and thread made round trips over and over again, Beato still didn't die. The cruel witch eventually grew pale at how bizarre that was. What in the world are you? Motorcycle gun. You probably cannot understand. Even I didn't understand. And yet, somehow or another, it seems that this is true magic. In other words, I have now become it. I have become a true witch. I don't know which one's talking. Firing explosion center and heart interior. Fuse preparations ready. Explode! You know, Beatrice just won't die, you know? she wouldn't let herself die. There was a terrible sound, and gold leaf was scattered around the area, along with a cloud of gold butterflies. Beato's chest had opened wide from the inside, and from that, gold butterflies and gold leaf poured out, staining the surrounding area gold, and Beato's flesh crumpled. Like a puppet whose strings had been cut, she crouched down and crumpled. However, a gold heart tied by gold threads floated in the air and continued to beat. Oh god. What the? Monster! Abe! When the Chester sisters saw that, they fell on their butts in shock. God. Somehow, even though Beato had become nothing more than a heart, it kept beating, continuing to protect the barrier to the parlor. It was an immeasurably vast magical power. Impossible to measure. In other words, endless. I'm the Endless Witch, right? Why is this old egg still alive after all this? I hear my dog crying, so I think that means people are home, so awkward place to end the episode. But hey, gotta. So that's gonna be it for this episode. If you liked it, be sure to press the like button, and if you didn't like it, fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!